Good morning, everybody. Hunter Orrell here. This is the Morning Mints, and we're going to do a quick recap of the last week out. I'm finally back from New York. Wow, if you were there, I hope you're doing well. It was certainly a action-packed week, nonstop madness. I'm finally not in an Airbnb, not waking up every morning after 2 hours of sleep and wondering what the next day holds. It is nice, but now it's time to work, get shit done. Really excited here. I think, recap wise, there's a few things I wanted to touch on. It was really nice to see every single one of you, the people that made the time to come and, track me down, to come out to the meet out, to come up to, the Future Proof party. Really, really appreciate it. It does for me, and I think a lot of the other people on the team, give us that extra push to keep building, to keep going, and really excited for what's going to come next year. So I guess to start here, the big kind of thing from the week was being able to mint a Crypto New Yorker at Bright Moments Gallery. They do this city by city minting where each city they do 1,000 mints in person. So you actually have to go to the gallery, sign up, and they allow you to mint, and then they reveal it to you a couple minutes after you mint on these big screens. They're 90-inch Samsung screens that look amazing. So I was able to mint I think number 238. Other people such as Tropo and G-Funk. I know Bryce Hall was there. Many other names were able to mint. Once these 1,000 are minted in New York, they'll go on to their next city, which is Berlin. I have no idea what the fourth city is, but very excited to see where this project keeps going. It's a very, very unique and emotionally attaching minting because you are there. There is applause. It is kind of this it's an event and it does stand out. And I've said this time and time again, if you just click mint and then it shows your artwork, you are at a disadvantage to somebody who has amazing reveal process that has animations and makes the person kind of have that attachment to that minting process, other than you just click mint and shows. So that was really cool. The other things that were very cool, collecting POAPs, able to pick up this Ape Fest warehouse party from Wednesday night at the Ape Fest concert. Very exciting. I'm not sure if that's Tropo because that ape does look kind of fat. I don't know. But that was awesome. Picking up our own POAP from the Future Proof launch party on Tuesday. Again, thank you to everybody who came out. The best part of this was that the waiters, the bouncers, some of the doormen coming up to me mid-party after we revealed the POAP and asking me, how do we get an NFT, downloading the POAP app with them on their phones, and then them claiming this as their first NFT. And a lot of them were very, very excited. And I kind of was telling them hey, you got to remember this moment. This is cool. This is your first NFT. This is something you'll look back on in years and be like, damn, I remember at that crazy, a guy had a speaking event at the bar and we claimed an NFT and now here we are. So super exciting. Also, huge shout out to Young and Sick for the artwork here. Absolutely crushing it. Never ceases to amaze me with how amazing his art comes out looking. Also picking up an Ape Fest kind of just week sticker. Very cool. The yacht party was amazing. Really cool to have something that says hey, I was there, I picked it up. Taking a look at the NFT market really quick. Punk's sitting at number 1, Bored Ape Yacht Club at number 2. The one thing I will note, kind of scrolling through the top 100 here, taking a week off to go to the city and then coming back, things have moved around quite dramatically. There are names I obviously recognize that haven't gone anywhere, but I feel like I've missed a lot, and it kind of speaks to the difficulty of working in this space. If you want to really be at the cutting edge, you have to be at the computer working, reading, trying to see how everything is moving around, feeling things out, seeing new projects that drop every single minute of the day that you can. Otherwise, you get back and you're like, what is this project? Oh, wait, how is this project 5x? How is this project down 90%? It's really hard. And I think that also kind of comes back to the whole idea of, if you're single and doing this and this is your thing, that it's really easy, right? Like as long as you can kind of balance like with friends and making that time, like you're not going to put too much pressure on yourself. If you do have, a girlfriend or a boyfriend or you are married, this to operate at that level is certainly very hard. I've talked to people that the beginning was very hard for them and then they kind of figured it out. I've talked to people who are in marriages and it's, it puts a lot of strain on the marriage. It's a conversation I don't think we hear enough of. And I think there's probably a lot of people that are going through that. And I always kind of say, like, if you are in this ecosystem, your friends aren't going to be able to relate to you saying, hey, like, the marriage is really, tough right now because I'm like buying images online and flipping them and I'm making lots of money, but she doesn't understand. Like, none of your normal friends are going to understand. Which is why, like, I think the community, again, needs to kind of be there as a support system to each other. And people shouldn't be too worried to, like, reach out to their friends within this ecosystem if they are going through that. Just one of those, like, small things from the week of having tons and tons of conversations with people that, I think I walked away with kind of being like, I didn't even think of that. Otherwise, Bored Ape Yacht Club doing well, hanging around the 30 ETH mark. The rest of this is kind of just like, again, coming back for a week, lots of things have changed. The Toad's still hanging around 4 ETH. The Ape Wives was a project that I saw pop up. I think we saw this run up above 1 ETH. Now we're back down to 0.43. It's a tribute project. It isn't Bored Ape Yacht Club, so you're not going to have that same type of access and utility. Doodles still hanging around 1 ETH floor. I do think that's a great project. Might take a while to see that play out. I will hold on to mine for now. Cool Cats all the way down to 5.6. So we saw this run above 10. Now we're pulling back. Will be interesting to see this play out. I know we've seen some teasers for what's to come. I'm very excited. I think Cool Cats, especially knowing that there are going to be, next iterations of this, and we can kind of see like what's happened with those OG CyberCongs, etc. I think there is a play here where Cool Cats become heavily sought after if they don't make any missteps. Another kind of blue chip project, in my opinion. Meebit's still chugging along. We'll see what happens there. Again, cheap exposure into Larva Labs ecosystem. Creature World at 1.45. Danny Cole was one of the standout like highlights from my week. I would say it was like Tom Sachs, Andrew Wang, Danny Cole. Like those are some of like my favorite experiences from the week. Just being able to like pick their brains, see their vision. Danny is unbelievably like, there's a switch in his brain and it just goes from like our world to his world, and like his world is like so much cooler, and he's just on a mission to build and do his shit and does not care about anything else other than just like creating. And I love it. So super cool to see that. And then VFriends actually pulling back. This is the first time I've seen it like start to like kind of pull back a bit over, since we saw the like 11 ETH floor that we saw run up to. Let's see here if I can pull this up if it decides to load. Not sure what's going on with the internet this morning. Well, while we let that load, like again, communities that are building, bringing value, and are not just saying like, hey, buy our project, price goes up. I'm very bullish on, and I think the ones that are building stuff around that lets holders really, really gain stuff from it, like get that value, will win. So hence VFriends, Creature World, I have high expectations for. Also, while we're sitting here waiting for that to load, Fidenza dropping under 100 ETH for the first time since we saw that huge run up. I mean, again, I remember when these were like 2 to 5 ETH, and then we saw it rip all the way up towards 200, and now we've just slowly pulled back, closer to, I wouldn't say like go easy prices to get into, but like more attainable. I think art blocks right now just across the board is getting slammed. Fidenzas look so cool. Like, they're just so cool looking. Definitely a standout art piece. This one that looks almost like it has eyes and a frowny face, like really cool. And again, these are bought for like 0.8. The last 1 ETH, waiting to unload these really cool pieces. But you'll see like across the entire market, a lot of stuff from our historical highs are down. Bored Ape Yacht Club, as we can see over the last 60 days, flat activity, hanging around 31 ETH. We're not seeing like huge volume. Things are kind of just sideways now. And there's no real, I wouldn't say like, oh man, things are popping off. Like, it's just like we're in that period where people are kind of like tiptoeing, feeling things out. Is this the top? Is this too, fluffy? Are things going to correct? Are we living in a fantasy zone? Same thing with apes. Like, we saw all this crazy stuff. Like, we saw apes on the cover of Rolling Stone. We saw stuff like the festival. We saw the yacht party. We saw NBA players putting apes on their basketball shoes. People like Lil Baby putting, mutating their ape before they come out to perform a concert and saying, changing profile photos to apes. Big things are happening, but we're just kind of stagnant. And it does make you kind of think, like, what do they have to do to make things go higher? Is it announcing a better roadmap 2.0? Is it, financially incentivizing holders even more? I know we have a token coming out. It's going to be very interesting. And I think they are going to end up putting themselves in a position where people who hold their assets, hold on to their things, are going to be in a position where when the coin comes out or whatever happens, they'll be rewarded, just like we saw with ENS. We'll touch on that in a second. But I do think we're just kind of in this tiptoey, stagnant, people have to wait and hold and see what happens kind of mark. Apes or punks, also a great example of the market kind of being soft. Like, it's not that hard to get this back to 100 ETH floor, right? Like, it's not like crazy down, but we are all the way down to 84 ETH on the floor. And so a lot of what we're seeing is, okay, hey, ETH is ripping up. I'd rather be holding the thing that's ripping than this illiquid asset. The whole idea, again, of illiquid has not, I don't think, clicked for a lot of people, where when we see these large moves happen, if I have a punk and it's like, hey, like, I really need ETH right now, to make that happen very quickly, you need to sell very under market price where somebody's like, oh, wow, that's a no-brainer pickup. Or you just happen to have like that person or a bid on the other side that wants to buy it. This is not a coin. This is not a stock. This is not something where there's a market maker or a ledger that's just saying, all right, let's do it. As long as there's, if you want to market sell, you can market sell. There is not there. There has to be somebody on the other side to buy this. So just remember that. The last couple 24 hours, I know we did see this 3D top hat go for 500 ETH. We did see a beanie go for 387, and then a hoodie for 311. So there are there's big buyers out there still. The punks aren't dead, NFTs aren't dead. I don't want to like come off as that, but the market certainly is not like this hot, crazy, like things are going insane, that we saw back in like August. Things are certainly cooled off. There is certainly a level of like, checking it out. Amazing pickup here. I love this smiley. That's kind of like the grail for me, is a smiley. Still believe that. But yeah, like punks are chilling out. So the one thing I will note on is that ENS, if you go to claim.ens.domain/dashboard, you can go and claim your ENS airdrop. So if you bought an ENS address, you can be rewarded for that. I know there has been a little bit of drama around this on do you hold, do you sell, what is the team doing? Big drama around that where we saw that Becca Liebert, who was a graphic designer for ENS, dumped her tokens. And unfortunately, it does seem like people that are still current employees are in a lockup period, but people who got their tokens and then were left, fired, or whatever, and still hold them aren't in this lockup period, and so they have instant liquidity. And so I think current employees are a little upset. I think people who are holding here are a little upset where they're dumping millions and millions of dollars worth of these tokens. You can read into it. I think D's even kind of poking in here saying he would be tilted if he was a current employee locked up and some graphics designer has the option to dump $5 million on your heads. It's part of like the area we run in, but the biggest takeaway from the ENS stuff is you're getting paid, like, for us, not forget the drama and fight. Like, we are getting rewarded for being users. We're being rewarded for being early. One, take a note of this. Like, companies are rewarding holders and participants within their own ecosystems. Somebody's like, imagine if Lululemon did this, I'd be retired. Imagine if somebody's like, imagine if Starbucks did this, I'd be retired. Like, there's funny things like this where companies right now just aren't rewarding users. And in this economy, in this kind of ecosystem, companies are saying, hey, thank you for like buying and using this. Here's the token. You have voting rights. You have control. There's a treasury. And we're being rewarded. People have made tons of money off of this, which is amazing. So super cool to see that. I'm not sure who will do it next. But we've seen this a couple times happen already. And I do think that we'll see the ENS pricing, if we just pull it up right now, it went all the way down to 23, was hanging out at 40. And then at one point this morning, we saw it run up all the way to the high 50s. We'll probably see it settle in the mid 30s. That's what I'm kind of expecting here. There's going to be buyers and sellers. Every big kind of fund is going to be looking to put money into this because, it's one of the biggest protocols and probably one of the most disruptive ones out there. For just, statistics numbers, I pulled up this off of Dune. About a third of the addresses have claimed their airdrops, which is about 45,000 people or 45,000 addresses. And let's see here. That is $9.2 million ENS that have been claimed. So, of the 25 million that went out, there is a still large amount remaining to be claimed. We can see that this is probably going to die off. People are, if they're active, they've heard of it. We're probably getting to that point where there are people that just aren't, full-time know of this, just haven't claimed it yet. And they'll claim it at some point, hopefully. But I think the big takeaway here is if you are trading and you're going on Uniswap, the big takeaway here, so you don't lose money like I did, is you can't leave your slippage at 0.5%. You're going to have to change this up to like 5% or 7%, something high. And slippage is just and the actual terminology here is it's the transaction will not revert if the price changes unfavorably by more than this percent. So in a time where this is being traded very quickly and prices are changing, if it's saying that one ENS token is worth 40, I, go to trade this out and it drops to 37. Within that, almost 10% drop, I'm like, hey, I still want it. I still want to make that trade here. Uniswap will actually revert this and take your gas. You'll pay the miners, and it'll just say that it failed. So you're definitely within, probably for the next couple hours or days here, need to adjust your slippage while this price is changing pretty rapidly and trying to find price discovery. But until then, change this up and you should be good. Looking at the market overall right now, we have Bitcoin currently sitting at almost $67,000. Ethereum pushing the $4,800 mark. Just we're up, like we're in this bull run for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everybody kind of called this that November to end of December we're gonna have, we're gonna see these rip. NFTs are gonna suffer. At some point within this 2-month period, we'll have like DeFi and NFT kind of like bonanza where this kind of goes sideways and DeFi starts ripping again and people are starting to rotate, and then as that rotation happens, we might see Ethereum test the $4,000 mark again. We're going to see a lot of, and I mean a lot of people that held on to stuff probably be rewarded, but I'm not sure what's going to happen with all NFTs. I think we're all pretty much on the same page here that there's going to be a lot of NFTs that go to zero, and by a lot, I mean like 90+% of these projects are just going to be worthless. There are a lot of great artists that are doing great things. They'll be, sought after. That's art. But these projects that promise, a lot and probably aren't going to be able to perform or pull off this crazy roadmap that they've announced, probably going to zero, and you need to be aware of that. I also don't think that there is a winner takes all in this entire scenario. Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, everybody keeps saying like, oh, this is going to be the one. I think there's always going to be an alternative to the top three, right? And there's always going to be plus or minuses and pros and cons. And if you're thinking in a winner one maxi mindset, again, I don't think that's the best way to approach this thing, things like this, and try to kind of open up and see what else is out there. Yeah, and that's the show. The last thing I'll make a note of here, I did help the NFT attorney Jacob Martin launch this project, the NFT tax guide. The funniest thing was that somebody asked me, can I write it off? And I was like, yes, it's a business expense essentially because you are getting this tax utility out of it. Just making a comment about it. If you do buy one of these, you can write it off as a business expense because it is giving you utility and a tool, access to Zen Ledger's tax platform and their software. And so you can essentially write this off as a tax expense. And just a funny thing from the week that I thought I would mention. So that's the show. Thank you for everybody who watched. We're going to be, like I said, changing up how we do the show. I am very much waiting and patiently, for a new laptop so that this isn't painful to record on this MacBook Air. I'm very excited. Big things coming. If you have suggestions, as always, please leave them below. I do read them, and I are going to try to incorporate as much of what the audience wants into the show. And then I think overall with Future Proof, the next couple weeks here, leading into the end of the year, big announcements on how we'll be structuring your involvement with what we're doing. Super excited for that. If you haven't already, leave a like below, sub, it helps a lot, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, everybody.